gang.
Hi.
How we doing? Good to see you all here in the foyer at Southwestern. My name, for those of you who don't know me, is Jordan Walsh. I am the director of the Southwestern University Percussion Ensemble, and this is our spring showcase. Thank you for being here. As I empty my pockets of all the things that are not necessary for the next 45 minutes of your life. So, every time we do one of these concerts, we could just present a bunch of pieces, a bunch of music, and that would be great, but I kind of like to draw it all together somehow. I feel like it's a little bit more fun that way, yeah? So our theme tonight is Concertpop. The name of the show is Concertpop, and I didn't do that on purpose. It happened, as these things tend to do. But because I noticed as we were programming all this music that it all had this sort of groove aspect to it that was just a little bit on the more popular music side of things. These are not just pieces, they are songs, and that's fascinating to me. Because the classical world has been changing greatly in the past years. No longer are things just for the concert hall or just for the club. They cross back and forth. So tonight we're doing that crossover, and all of these pieces cross over in different ways. The first thing we're going to present you guys with in just a minute here is Karakurenai by Akiyo. Akiyo is a now, I think, Grammy Award-winning composer as of this year. He's a brilliant, brilliant artist. And it's a very interesting experience with Andy because he is a synesthetic. He has synesthesia. And what that means is that his senses are crossed in some way. Now, it is his business, and he has chosen to be fairly private about it, about in what way those things are crossed. However, we can take questions after the show. Thank you, though. I appreciate the enthusiasm quite a bit. But we do know, from what Andy's told us, that colors are involved. The way he hears things influences colors that he sees. So he wrote this set of pieces based on the colors that the key signatures represent to him. Karakurenai in Japanese means orange. So this piece is quite literally orange to Andy Akiyo. Now, how does that factor into Concertpop? The piece is going to be based on a single bass line held down by one Malcolm Hiskey. Malcolm, I didn't tell you we were going to do this. Sorry. You want to play the bass line for us? Sure. Let's show them what we're doing here. Yeah, just once. All right. Why not? All right. That's it. That's the whole piece. Now, that doesn't line up with what Malcolm just did. Until it does. And then we move on to a new, more complicated pattern. Time is at once really groovy and really simple and profoundly complicated. So I'm going to be sitting back here following along, and at the halfway point I'm going to start playing just a little bit of pseudo drum kit to kind of like lay down exactly where Andy hears the groove, because it can be really ambiguous at times. So let's go ahead and make sure that we've got all the things we need, and this will be Karakurenai by Andy Akiyo. Let's check this out. Check. Cool. Going old school, boys. harsh but fun. Okay, and now stage change, stage change, stage change. Pay no attention to the men behind the curtain. We're going to make some brief changes here, as is standard in these sorts of shows, and I'm going to talk about our next piece of music. So, getting away from the straight-up groove that was Karakurenai. Complicated, but ultimately, I think, readable. We're going to get into something that's a little bit more esoteric, a little bit more felt, a little bit less simple. And what that's going to be is Träd, Forest of Hands by John Eriksson. He is I believe, a Swedish composer. That's something I should have looked up in the notes before the show. Who wrote this piece in 2006 for a Forest of Hands. 5 percussionists on 1 marimba and 1 xylophone very, very far away behind a curtain. Now, those of us who can do math in the room are going to notice that there are not 5 of us here. There are 3. This is a very flexible piece of music. There's a lot of give and take that you can do with it. So what we've done here is we've adapted it for our numbers, and we have made it so that we can play it as 1 group of just 3 people. So you're going to see some of us covering things that you might feel don't go together. Some of them are multiple parts. Some of us are switching parts halfway through the piece. And in the interest of knowing what's about to happen, there is rhythm to this. There's quite a bit of it, actually. But none of it really aligns in a way that makes sense. We have triplets playing over 16th notes, but you never have a downbeat. But sometimes there is a downbeat, but sometimes there isn't. Oh my! And all the time, we're crescendoing, decrescendoing, getting louder, getting softer. And we are really just kind of feeling out how many possibilities there are in 1 rhythm. So this piece could go for 5 minutes, it could go for 10. Who knows? It's going to be really, really exciting to see what happens here. But as you're listening, I think the best way to approach this one is to kind of let yourself get lost in it. Listen for rhythms that come out of other rhythms. Listen for rhythms that you hear so much that they turn into something different. This is Träd, A Forest of Hands by John Eriksson. Look. Träd, Forest of the Ants by John Eriksson. Excuse me. Cool piece, yeah. Very, very different from a lot of the notes that get written for us. People like to write drummers a lot of notes, very quickly, a lot of the time, very fast. And it's nice to get to kind of sit in something a little less, I don't know, abrasive every once in a while, yeah? And these instruments are fabulous at it, I think. So I think as we move into the next program, you're going to kind of see where my head is at this semester, because we're going to go deeper into the esoteric, just a hair. You can see that the big, scary setup tonight is off to our left here, and thank you, Alice. And it is very different than the things we've seen so far. We've been focusing on our keyboards a lot thus far, and that's not what we're about to do here. Ara is a piece written in 2011 for either 3 or 4 percussionists. There are versions for both, by Icelandic composer Anna Þorvaldsdóttir, excuse me. And it immediately, almost immediately became one of the kind of hit pieces for about 10 years or so, leading us to now when it's, you see here, still a hit piece. And you're going to notice that it is nothing like the average percussion music you may or may not run across. There is almost nothing in terms of rhythm here. This is almost completely wide open. And it is something that is virtually unheard of in many percussive circles until, again, the last 10 or so years. But it's also beautiful. It's profoundly gorgeous in a way that, like, I don't know a whole lot of other pieces that are. Ara, the only program notes, that Anna provides us with are 3 sides of the same beat. And you're going to notice sharing of instruments here to a, frankly, absurd degree. We're each going to take a shot at the bell theme, which is this very open-ended, very wind chime-oriented musical motive, all played at the front with just various levels of scratching, tone, noise, rushes on various things. It's going to be a very, very different experience. So I would encourage you, as spoiler warning, the lights are about to go dark. As the lights go out, close your eyes, enjoy this one. This is Ara by Anna Þorvaldsdóttir. Get that one right one day.
Wait, do we need to turn your lights on?
Oh, we will.
Just checking.
Thanks for looking out.
Gotcha.
open the hatch, so to speak, here. And we're back. All right. Yeah, let's kill all the plants. OSHA violations and all that. Okay. As we make the last great big change, we don't need to take that one down necessarily. As we make the last great big change, I do want to find my program and make the proper thank yous to all the people who made this possible. Let's see here. First we got the ones who are written down. Laura Sewell. You all know her as the director of the Sarofim School of Fine Arts Administration. She keeps this building up. She keeps this place standing. And we could not do what we do around here. I see nods amongst the students we know. Laura is one of the most incredible administrators I have ever met, and it is a pleasure to work with her each and every day. So thank you, Laura. Alexandra Andersley, everybody clap for Alex.
Thank you.
Alex is our Sarofim coordinator and faculty administrator. She is a new addition to our faculty and staff, but she is not a new addition to the Sarofim School. Alex graduated from here in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed it. Love
Come on, you got him.
Killer singer from what I'm told. We'll have to check that someday.
Thank you.
John Orr, the director of technical operations. We all know that technical operations are the unsung heroes of a space like this, so thank you, John. My colleague Kiyoshi Tamagawa, professor of music, program editor, pianist, professor extraordinaire. Thank you, Kiyoshi. Again, one of the people who really makes the world go around here. We've also got Bruce Kane, my department chair, who was kind enough to let me hang out here starting this past fall. So thank you to Bruce for all he does for myself, the faculty, the student body, his own students. Bravo, Bruce. And then Grace Sexton, Sarofim student leader. You see Grace around here all the time doing all the things. And again, without an involved student community, a place like the Sarofim School of Fine Arts does not happen. So thank you to Grace. I also want to thank, well, first of all of you. Like, seriously. What is a live concert if it's just 3 of us hacking in a room? It's lame. So thank you all who have joined us in person. Some of you I know, some of you I hope to know very soon. Thank you to all of us who have joined us on the live stream, the brand spanking new live stream gotten to us by Alex behind the camera. I hope that we get to do that a lot more because it brings many more people our way, which is always a good thing, right? Let's see. Thank you to these guys. It's not every job where you walk in as just this madman off the street and say, I'm going to make you play a whole concert, and they say, cool. And I do want to draw attention to the fact that these guys are putting on a show that I would not ask of a student musician until they're doctorate. Bravo, seriously. This is a huge They're also excellent movers, as you can tell. And then lastly, of course, I have to thank and embarrass profoundly my partner, Jess, sitting in the back there. Jess is not only a supportive partner, she's also a brilliant ops person in her own right and is running the record for us in the back there. So thank you, Jess, for monitoring. All right, let's chat about some weapon wheel. So everything up to now has been groove, or kind of groove, actually, if you squint and you look careful enough, or no groove at all, but gorgeous in this kind of like enrapturing and sinking way. This ain't that. Weapon wheel is a very different piece of music. Excuse me while I make my final preparations here while we speak to each other. Weapon wheel is by a newer composer to our scene named Quinn Mason. Quinn wins the award for got most established the fastest. Like, you blinked and all of a sudden everybody was playing Mason's music. It was incredible. He just had a premiere by the Dallas Symphony that then went around, made its rounds at all of the major symphonies in the US and beyond. He's about to get a premiere at the University of Texas at Austin by Jerry Jumping. You didn't hear it from me. Oh, I said that in live stream, didn't I? No. But he's played at the University of Michigan, Indiana. This man is everywhere. And he's an orchestra guy. And yet, Weapon Wheel is a very different piece of music for Quinn Mason, at least from what I've been able to tell. But he does have a drumming background. And the man wrote us a drumming piece. So all that talking we were doing about lots of notes very fast, oh yeah. So I will put the content warning out there. This is much more aggressive, much louder than anything we have done so far. Nothing damaging, I checked. But it is worth noting that this one's going to hit just a little bit harder. Guys, you ready to take them home? All right. weapon wheel, Quinn Mason. Thank you all so much for being here. Live music doesn't exist without people to share it with. Some friendly faces I recognize, some seemingly friendly faces that I don't. Come say hello. Come look at stuff. This stuff's weird, right? Come touch stuff. Let's check it out. Thank you all. Have a great night. Drive safe. See you next time. Great. Wonderful.